here for a love chat talking about love, and I want to talk about the importance of self-love and self-care. I see it happen all the time where we neglect ourselves through love. A lot of us have a deficiency in love, and I've seen it as like vitamin L, representing love, a deficiency in vitamin L. And when you have that deficiency within yourself, your life is not 100% at its best. You're not living in your best. You're not living your best life because you're not getting that love, feeding yourself with that love. And by feeding yourself with that love, you also require that of other people. What we require of ourselves, we unknowingly require that of those around us who become a part of our lives, who feed into us. And if we require ourselves to be love, fill ourselves with love and support and just goodness, then we require that of other people. So that's why it's so important to take the time out to do self-care practices. I know it may seem like this is a video that you've seen before, you've heard about, self-care, or like, oh my God, why are we talking about self-care? It's just everywhere. It's everywhere because it's an epidemic. I really do look at it as being an epidemic. It's an epidemic of people not taking care of themselves and not feeding themselves. We have to require that we feed into ourselves. We require other things of other people, but then we don't require those same things of ourselves. So essentially, we're teaching people, we're demonstrating to people that they don't have to follow through with the things that we say that we need and require, because we don't do that for ourselves. When we don't have the skills or the practice of taking care of ourselves and honoring that practice and whatever it looks like and exists like for each of us, because it's different for each person. Each person, we're uniquely designed, and our experiences do affect who we are. And because of that, we have needs that are different from other people. But we have to embrace those needs and really truly learn how to fill ourselves up, how to provide ourselves with the things that we need in order to be happy and to feel loving towards ourselves. So that's why I want to talk about self-care. Self-care, that all ties back into taking care of ourselves and feeding into ourselves, and how it's important to have a daily practice where we do something for ourselves, where we feed ourselves in a loving way. And when we're not doing that, it's virtually impossible to be happy in all areas of our lives. Everything that we want to do starts with ourselves and being happy and fulfilled within ourselves. If we're not fulfilled within ourselves, it's never going to work to seek it out in other people. There's always going to be that deficiency that is lacking that we can only provide ourselves. So that's why it's important to do self-care practices. I know I heard a client say, like, painting my nails, how is that a self-care practice? Well, it's the practice of taking care of yourself. It's a practice of doing something for yourself by your own hands. It's a practice of being mindfully in the moment of painting your nails. It's not about painting your nails red or pink or what have you. It's not about that. It's about taking the time to do something for yourself. If painting your nails is not something you enjoy, then that's not a self-practice that you should have for yourself. And wholeheartedly find something else that works for you. There's different ways to fill yourself up. It can be reading a book. It can be taking a dance class. It can be preparing your meals or having dinner at a table with your family. It can be something along those lines. But it starts by identifying what your needs are. What do you need that you have to require of yourself to provide for yourself? It starts there. Listen, I'm not saying that anything that I say is ever easy or uncomplicated. I'm one of being very honest, and I think we have to be a lot more honest in terms of how much effort, how much time and effort goes into maintaining a sense of balance. Hell yeah, it takes time and effort and forethought and planning, but that effort pays in to yourself, which turns into paying out exponentially in ways that shows up in having the energy or the clarity to know what drives you, what you're passionate about. It starts there. And that's why the self-care practice is important, because it allows us to connect to ourselves. That at its core is the purpose of self-care practice. At the core of it all, the very simplistic way of its purpose, of defining the purpose of self-care. That's exactly what it is. And by doing that, you're able to connect with yourselves. And a lot of times we're not able to connect to ourselves because we don't have that requirement of a self-care practice, of feeding ourselves, of filling ourselves up by ourselves. Again, you cannot feed yourself up through other people. It doesn't work that way. Other people will never be able to fill you up in the way that you are meant to fill yourself up. Yes, people can add to who you already are, what you already have. Yes, that is definitely something that people do, but you can't fill up someone's tank when they haven't even opened it up to begin with. And that starts by you filling up yourself, acknowledging, like, this is what I need. You have to start filling yourself up with yourself, by yourself, through yourself, for yourself. It starts with yourself. When you start to... So for those of you that may be saying, oh my gosh, it's so selfish to have things that I do for myself and to say no to people when I have it planned and mapped out on my calendar, like, this is my me time, and I'm like, no. And you may get pushed back from other people. But what that situation right then and there is meant, and you're going to keep getting that lesson until you get it. What that situation is teaching you is that you have to have the strength, the courage to say, I can't do that. I have this time set aside for myself, and you don't even owe that person an explanation. You really don't. You can just say, no, sorry, I have a commitment. And you can be 100% okay and comfortable in that. I know I used to be a pleaser, a person that would try really hard to please other people, but I have learned, not very quickly, it took me some time to learn it, but what I learned is that I was allowing other people to dictate how my life should be and how I should live my life. And I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy because I was not living my authentic self. I was not putting my needs before other people. Putting your needs before other people, people are like, oh, that's selfish. What's wrong with being selfish if you don't take care of yourself? No one can take care of you in the way that you can take care of yourself. You have the owner's manual. You know what you need. And that's why we have to get back. That's why it's so important to have that self-care, those self-care practices, those self-care moments throughout the day, the week, the month, the year, where you take the time to connect to what that is and honor that need by requiring yourself to do the things that you need to make yourself happy. Our happiness should never be tied to other people, because other people, when they leave, they can take that with us. And that's not how your happiness should be tied. Yes, other people can make you happy and add to your life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yes, there can be sadness associated with relationships or what have you ending, but the happiness you have, it starts with yourself and is yourself. It is yourself. So take the time out to honor that need and requirement of a self-care practice. I always think about, I don't remember the quote exactly, but it talks about how you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. It's perfect example is when you're on the plane and they do the demonstration about, the mask that drops down if the air cabin pressure is low. You put the mask on yourself before you put it on other people. That's a huge demonstration right there of self-care practice. You can't help other people if you aren't even at a healthy state to be able to help other people. If you don't have the energy, if you don't have the courage, if you don't have the tools to help yourself, if you can't even begin to help yourself to provide yourself with what you need, the things that you need, you are not going to be able to provide those things to other people. So feed yourself by yourself and honor the space and time every day where you do something that feeds you. You do something that provides you that love deficiency that sometimes becomes deficient and that needs to be replenished. So I hope that helps in some way, and I hope you are having an amazing day and do something for yourself today. Do something that makes you smile that you can do by yourself. That is today's challenge, to do something by yourself that makes you happy. That does not require other people. And it has to be something that is good for your body, that comes from a place of love. If it doesn't come from a place of love, then no. Go back to drawing board, figure it out again, because that is not a healthy self-care practice either. So that's the challenge for today. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. All right, so I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. And if you like these love chats, give this a thumbs up, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future love chats and other content. But let me know, do you like these love chats? Do I need to keep doing them? Yeah, so I'll see you guys later.